Deal with taxes.
Deal with taxes.
Strategic tax planning, asset protection, next generation planning.
You could go into that, but is there a phrase, again, think of it this way, right? Right? Yeah, but you gotta have something you can give the client, saying it in a very matter-of-fact tone.
Or try to get the challenge before you even say it.
Well, I always say asset protections, government regulations, and reducing taxes.
Okay, because how can you say that in an inflection that doesn't sound like a pitch? You understand what I'm saying to you?
Issue is like, I'm the type of person who I have to say that stuff, right? And then the biggest issue that I come up with after the fact is that I'm stuck selling now.
Yeah.
I told them, and now I'm just dealing with those objections that you don't want.
Right, you didn't want it anyway. You brought it to the
So I
table.
think what you're asking for is a phrase like, we're a goal-oriented resource or something.
You need to make it your own. You need to make it your own, but what I'm saying is I don't hear any calls, and not one, where a client has asked that. First of all, when a client's asking that, does everybody understand you have an appointment sitting on the table?
Yeah.
Does everybody understand the minute the client says, what is it you do? You have a client who's listening, he's leaning into you, you now have an appointment, a real appointment sitting on the table. If you can handle yourself beyond that moment.
Especially if they ask the question, what is it that you can do for me?
Yes.
I love
That's
that.
you've got it okay, this is it, sitting on the table. Who's seen Tommy Boy? Yeah, okay. My little preach, I get it. Yeah, that's what you do. That's exactly what you're doing. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. That's exactly what you're doing. You're just you're destroying it, you're killing it. That's exactly what you're doing. So we have to come up with this. Have to. I watched Chris Farley reruns at the hotel in the meeting on Saturday night, Friday night, because it's just, who wants to, did any of you guys have a room at the hotel? They had these smart TVs, and that's really, all it was on was this YouTube stuff, and I just clicked on it, and there was an old SNL skit, and I said, holy shit, and I just kept clicking, it's like crack. Yeah, it's just keep watching this stuff like crazy. So, yeah, it's gotta be, so let's define what this looks like. Let's define what our answer to what do you do? Okay, client says, what do you do? Let's define what this looks like. It has to be in a matter-of-fact tone, right? It has to be what else? Fluent.
Positive.
Meaning you're not stumbling around.
Positive.
You sound confident in it. You sound like you've said it 1,000,000 times. You sound like you know exactly what that means. Half of you don't even sound like you know what the hell you're saying. You're saying it, but you don't have any idea what the fuck that means. If the guy says, what does that mean? You hold on, and you're giving the phone to somebody else. You gotta have that. So these are the characteristics of our answer to what do you do.
How
about yes, it's gotta be enthusiastic, right? I think that'll fit under the tone.
Yeah.
It's gotta be enthusiastic. It has to, because you have to sound like you believe in
I
it.
feel like something like this has to have, it's gotta give them enough of what they're, because no one likes, as a person on the phone, no one likes to be told that vague,
Yes.
unanswering statement. So it's gotta give, but it's not give it all.
Yes, it cannot not open a can of worms, right?
I don't want garbage in here, because then you will leave a banana peel in a garbage can in a room that doesn't get used.
Exactly.
It does get used every day, except
Yeah, but not, but like,
they come in here and clean it out.
They play games and shit here.
Yeah, what do you think Oscar does? What do you think we pay him to do?
why isn't there a garbage can here?
It's right there.
Oh, fuck, it's in it.
Hey, you just want to be a smart ass.
Let's get back to this.
Hey, whoa, one meeting. I appreciate the respect for the room. That's absolutely a good thing. Because we want this to continue. You realize John Burgess, Tyler Burgess, every director is in here every day. If they start realizing this room is getting fucked up, we're out of here.
Start finding
So,
bananas.
That's
I
the
appreciate that.
11:45 meeting.
But let's leave it at that. Okay, so it can't open a can of worms, right?
Yeah.
One more important thing. Remember in our flow, screener, greeting,
Intro.
pitch,
Close.
and close. Remember where it fits in with that, okay? Because that assumes you've gotten through here, you greeted him, you pitched him, you closed him, and his question was, what do you do? So whatever this looks like, what happens after that? No. What do you need to make sure you do after that statement?
Schedule.
Close them.
Close him. Don't forget to go to the close. You have to. And that's the art of this whole thing. Because you're right, you cannot give him too much. Not too much. Okay? Once he starts asking, well, what does that mean? Then you can spend some time. But usually I will answer a question with a question. So it goes something like this. I'm Jeremy from Taxation Today. My rep, Dan Light, wanted to come on and meet with you for 5 minutes to tell you who we are, what we do, why it works. Can you give him 10 minutes at 10 o'clock tomorrow? Well, what do? We're a tax resource firm. We do everything that has to do with tax, asset protection, and entity structuring. I don't know what, if any of that is appropriate for you at this point, but with the tax law changes, I'm figuring out very quickly that nobody thoroughly understands it. What Dan wanted to do is come in and meet with you for 10 minutes and explain some of it and have a dialogue and see if we got basis for doing business. Can you meet him at 10 o'clock tomorrow for 10 minutes?
Why don't you just write the leads and then just fucking take the calls?
Because I can't fucking do that. Who's gonna frickin' manage all the reps in the field?
What if they ask you, again, what do you do after you give them that explanation? Because that happened like twice.
As far, you mean when they say, what do you do? I still don't understand what you do?
Exactly.
Oh, okay, I still don't understand what you might be dealing with someone who's trying to extract something from you.
Right.
And you cannot give it to them.
So what do you do in
Because
that
you
case?
steal all the thunder.
Right.
Well, like I said, we're a tax resource firm. The tax code is 100 and some thousand pages.
Right.
Your CPAs know how to prepare the tax returns, but everything else as far as strategy, reduction, what the new laws mean to you, how you are no longer in a position of strategy because the laws have changed, these are all things that other people have to deal with. We're the type of company that has those resources, but again, I have no idea if there's something for us to do together. What Dan wanted to do is come out for 10 minutes and try to figure that out. What time can you give him 10 minutes?
Okay.
Well, I still don't understand what that actually, okay, let me ask, do you pay tax? Because then at that point, you're just, okay, buddy, do you pay tax? Yes. Do you think you pay too much? Yes. What time can Dan meet with you? I mean, at that point, it's just, you could be dealing with somebody who's just trying to circle jerk you, to be honest with you.
Right, exactly.
And at that point, then you just gotta get real and start asking him questions to the point where he's gonna start getting all, because now you have control, right? You ask the question, Mr. What are you gonna do? Ask me a question and then not like my answer and then get all
Right.
skidded? No.
Right.
This is a give and take. But you can't give him an explanation like yours, Hugo. Part of the challenge you have is your explanation goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And you might have overcome this thing in the first on and on. But then after the next on and on and on and on and on and on, the client's like, you know what, forget about it. I don't have anything to do with it. Okay? So you have to have something, it has to be short and sweet, very matter of fact and fluent. It has to be fluent. It has to be fluent. But you want to push all of this off on the rep. Well, can you send me something so I know what we're talking about here? That's the whole point of him coming by. That's the whole point of him coming by. What we do is not a one-size-fits-all. Tell him that. It's not a one-size-fits-all. Every client's tax situation is unique. We find it most effective to have a 10-minute dialogue with our client, or 10-minute conversation, and figure out if there's anything for us to talk about. If there is, I'm sure we will. If there isn't, that's okay too. What time can I have him there to meet with you for 10 minutes? That's it. And you're getting a commitment, and you're not telling him anything Other than he's gonna, Dan's gonna walk in the door and you're gonna say, okay, so you do something with tax. What
Yeah.
what is this all about? Man, holy crap, that's just like unbelievable, So, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so your homework, 2 things. Number 1, the objections that you really struggle with. Pay attention to what you're struggling to. When a client says something, you just sink into your chair because I've never been able to overcome that.
Not interested is the hardest one for me.
The guy doesn't even know what the fuck
Exactly.
we do.
I try that all the time. You don't even know what we do. I say that.
Well, that can be confrontational.
Exactly.
That can be
I come out very
confrontational.
It is confrontational, there's no way to not.
Sure it
Unless
is.
you already
No,
have
you'd be,
those
you'd
open
be
guys
surprised.
involved. You can't
Some people can do that.
You'd be like,
Some people can do that, and I don't know why they stay on the freaking phone. I mean, I'm listening to Hugo stuff, and I'm going, he's just talking and talking and talking, but there they are.
I was like,
And
oh,
what's her name? Let me write it down.
No, it's
Holy
surprising.
shit,
There have
okay.
been times where I've like practically insulted a client, like, sir, you're just being an ass. Like, like borderline saying like,
Yeah.
you know what? Fall off the horse, right? And the next one they're like paying attention to you.
Bro, I wanna know
And
that
they're like,
something-
oh, you're a
Depends on where you're calling.
That was
They're
it.
not expecting,
Mhm.
they're not expecting a
Like, maybe you got it
telemarketer.
through your thick head,
Yeah.
I'm not just a salesman. You want to get your
Yeah,
work, is
you
what
gotta
you're
let them know
saying.
they're not talking to somebody in India or the Philippines or whatever.
Was it that $9 million sale when he asked for the spelling of her name, the one we just found on the board? That's Turks, right?
No, that was not that guy. That was a different one that you reset or something like
No,
that.
the 3 mil.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
remember.
mine.
It wasn't the $9 million sale.
That's mine. The $9 million shit was mine.
No, it wasn't. That was Hugo.
You know the sales law.
That was Hugo. No.
The sales
So the
law
homework
tells
is that
what
get
it
the
is.
objections that scare you to death.
Sales law.
Your
It's a
personal
legal-
objections that scare you to death. When a client says this, I've never overcome it, I don't think I can, I don't believe I can, I think I'm fucked, I might as well just hang up the phone right now. I wanna know what those are, and we are going to address those in the meeting, okay? And then number 2 is you gotta have an answer for what do you do, and it's gotta roll off your tongue, and I'm gonna ask you to speak it at the next meeting, next Thursday.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you to speak it. It's gotta roll right off your tongue, and I better hear the transition back to a pitch and to a close. Right? Well, we're a tax resource firm, we do this, we do that, blah, 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 but what Dan wanted to do is spend 10 minutes to introduce this and figure out what it is, what time can we get, okay, it's the same, you're in this circle, right? Pitch, close, it's not quite an objection, it's more of it's a question, obviously, but then you've gotta come back here and you get into this, and you get into that, right?
And
So,
tonality is huge in those different parts of the
absolutely, absolutely, so this undergirds everything. Doesn't matter where you're at in that, if you're not paying attention to this, your client can totally misunderstand what you're saying. And then Don gets there in the morning and the guy says, what the fuck are you talking? I got something totally different out of that phone call. And you're going, I don't understand why, listen to the tape. And the tape's not gonna tell me what the client perceived. True? I'm gonna figure out what the client perceived when the rep walks in the door the next frickin' morning.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So not everything is on the tape.
They
They do, so do you. That's an equal play, it's a level playing field.
Okay, so one thing I want to say about tonality real quick. Bert across the street had a real good floor meeting one time that I was like, was one of those ones that like I'll always.
Yeah,
remember.
stuck in your head,
Agree with
yeah.
Someone like, every once in a while they say something that's like huge. And with tonality, he says, one of the best salesmen that I have, that I know, isn't anybody on this floor, it's my kid. Because when I'm at the store, my kid's asking for something. And when they ask for something, with their voice, they up pitch, like, Daddy, can I have this? There's a thing in your head that's programmed, as people who want to take care of children, that when you up pitch in that voice, 'cause that's what kids naturally do, you just want to give it to them. You all of a sudden feel like it's something that you did for them, not like it's something that they got from you, you know? So like when you're pitching, when you get to that point of like asking, or, getting to that transition to that part of your close where you're saying that we're coming by, or however you do it, up pitch your voice a little bit, have a flow to it, get excited about it, and make it seem like it's something that they're doing for you, not something that you're getting out of them.
That's all.
It's so you.
Yeah. I mean, if they said, can I have this? I mean, it's not happening. You know what I mean? You can talk and say that in different inflections and shut it down. Okay, got it? Homework?
Thank you.
All right.
Good, man.
All right, guys.